Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lucas Light Show. Today's guest, my name is Pascal. How you doing today?
I'm good, you?
Good, thanks. And we're gonna talk about my first baby. And I know it's hard to believe this beautiful woman had a baby, but she did. And he's 3 years old, right?
Yeah, 2.5.
Good. So before we go, I'm just gonna read a poem,
Okay.
and we'll start with the questions. Life giving birth to life. It's like the love between a husband and a wife. Best creations are priceless. Just ask the mother. 9 months of pain and hope, but at the end it gets better. The baby arrived healthy. We cherish it, and we praise the Lord Almighty. I dedicate it to you.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. And I'm gonna go right to the questions. Did you plan to have a baby?
No, it wasn't planned.
Okay.
It was a surprise,
Okay.
but it was a great blessing. So
That's good. That's good. And like I'm not a woman, and I find it like as you guys can see. And then for me personally, I think it's the most courageous to carry a baby for 9 months. You know, like a life. You know, I can never explain how to pain. So I was it to carry a life for 9 months.
honestly, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. I mean, just by knowing there's a life inside of you that's growing and that's taking place. It's just the tiny little things that, you know, it makes you. I don't know. It makes you come alive, and you just, by feeling the baby moving and small movements like that, it's the best feeling. I don't know how to describe it really, unless, you know. But I'm blessed.
That's good. She's a good mother, as you can see. But what about like you never had those kind of pain and joy at the same time, right? Like just be able to like do things differently, that you could have done before you had the baby. Was it difficult?
No, it wasn't. I mean, as far as everything, I have a great support system, like from my brother, my dad, my mom, my sisters. So it wasn't really a surprise. Like, if I would feel any type of pain, it was just maybe I couldn't walk for a long time, or my feet would be swollen. But other than that, everything went perfectly well.
Yeah. And it was a good baby, no kicking all the time.
Oh yes, I would. Yeah,
Oh,
he was
kick?
a great baby. However, at night when it was my time to go to bed,
You wouldn't
it was the worst. Yeah, I wouldn't sleep. He would kick me, punch, but it felt good. It was funny, you know.
That's
Like
good.
sometimes I would have fun too. Like I would tickle my belly and he would move, go on the other side, and
Wow.
other than that, it was perfect. I didn't have any complications.
That's good. That's good. And were you in school when you had the baby? Or you-
Yes. Well, I was going to school at
Okay.
first, and then when I found out, I took a couple of years off. I was going to Ottawa U actually.
Okay, good. What were you thinking? Sorry for me.
It's okay, social science.
Nice, nice. And are you planning to go back?
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. And if you don't mind saying the name of your baby, what's the name?
Hezekiah.
How did you come up with the name?
It's actually a very funny story. Since I was young, I would make a list of the names that I like for my babies.
Wow.
And
It's cute.
so basically, Hezekiah came up, as you may know in French, it's Ezekiel,
Yes.
which is a part of the Bible.
Yes.
And I love the story of Ezekiel, so I translated in English, so it's Hezekiah. And
Wow.
it was a boy, so I named it Hezekiah.
And then was it really on the list?
Yeah, it was
of-
the first. I had a list of girls and boys, and he was the first one
Wow.
for the boys. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
That's good. I thought those stories were false.
No,
But it does
I had a
happen.
list.
And I know you mentioned off camera that you were a single mother.
Yes.
And I find that very good and that a very courageous move again. And how is it the life of a single mother? Just one day.
I mean, honestly, everything is just you just need to plan everything.
Okay.
It's not because sometimes when people say single mother, it comes off as, life is hard, it's very difficult, and there's a lot of things that you cannot do. However, me being a single mother, again, I have a great support system, and I can say that nothing has changed. You just need to plan your day, every day, and make sure your kid is first. So your priority should be your children, your child, exactly. So as long as your kid is first, everything else will follow.
Wow, it's very good. We're gonna go on a short break, but we'll be right back on that topic. See you soon.
Would you like to promote a social event, a music album, or a project in the Afro-Caribbean community? Even more, you just open a new business. It could be a drugstore or a barber shop, and you would like to attract more customers. The solution is quite simple. Buy an advertising space on Malaika TV and receive a bigger visibility in all the Afro-Caribbean community in Canada. For further information, please contact us on d.finance@malaikatv.com.
So you heard it from the main man already. Malaika TV, Entre Hommes, it's topping the charts right now. Very highly viewed. So if ever you want to go ahead and pass a message, don't hesitate. Publicity at malaikatv.com. That's essentially the address, and we'll get your product out there. I mean, we're big. We're talking Afro-Caribbean big.
Welcome back to Lucas Light Show with Pascal, my first baby. And before we left, we were talking about putting your kid first. You know, you think it's hard as a single mother, but you think if you put your kid first, you have a great support system. It's very good.
Yeah.
And I think the same. I think that's what most parents do nowadays. When they decide to have a baby, they have the ego come in between that, and then that's usually what happens when they separate, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not ready, but that should be your number one priority.
Exactly.
So, and I know you mentioned that he's 2 years old and a half. Are you planning to have another baby?
I mean, when the time is right,
Okay.
first the husband needs to come along, and eventually, yes, if it's in God's plan, eventually I will have other kids.
Okay. And then, what advice would you like to give to young girls thinking about, I want to get pregnant? What advice you give them?
I would say just be patient. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a life. It's a human being. It's not a doll or a toy. So, I mean, you can never really be ready for a kid. So you just need to take your time and make sure it's the right decision. Because with a child comes lots of responsibilities. So you need to be able to take care of that and make sure that your kid is not going to suffer down the line, because at the end of the day, he or she didn't ask to be born. So if you make that decision, just make sure that you'll be able to take care of your kid and you're going to be good. And if you have, again, a great support system, then yeah.
That's true. I like that.
Yes.
And as for the man, I know I'm a man. I don't have a baby somewhere out there. But the advice of the man leaving, the girlfriend or the wife after they get pregnant, what advice would you like to give them?
I mean, if at the end of the day you realize, the relationship between you and, your significant other is not working, then that's fine. However, you need to be present in your child's life, just to make sure that, your kid knows who you are and you have a great relationship with your child. And yeah, I mean, sometimes people, they tend to go their separate ways,
Yeah.
which is it's their decision,
Exactly.
but it should not affect the kid.
That's true.
Yes.
I like that. And I think it's most of the ups and downs in life, if you hear that kid, lost his mind, you're thinking there's something that happened in his childhood, and usually that's what happens. A parent left. I think that's a very good advice. And as for yourself, what advice would you like to give to single mothers of knowing? I know you talked about great support system, but what about the lows and the highs being a single mother?
Honestly, at my lowest, I pray. I get down on my knees and I pray, and God has never forsaken me. And I can say that, I don't know, just my son is actually my motivation. Just knowing, he's there, and waking up in the morning and having him telling me, Mom, I love you, or I missed you. When you open that door, he runs to you, gives you the biggest hug. It's a beautiful feeling. So technically, I don't see it as a burden or something that's weighing me down. Nothing has changed, so I don't know. You just need to look at your blessing, basically.
And as you can see, you have a positive attitude, which helps a lot. A lot of women, they put themselves down. I think the way you're going in life, I think it's great. And as for your son, talk about him a little bit.
Um,
What does he do? I know he's only 2 years old now.
He does a lot of things, actually. He loves basketball, so there's always a fight going on for basketball. Like, he'll say basketball, he knows how to shoot, So that's like my little future Michael Jordan, or whoever he was.
James?
Yeah, whoever he wants to become later on, and I'll be there and I'm gonna support him. He's a bundle of joy. It's really hard to not like him. I mean, I'm not saying that because he's my child, but it's really hard not to. I don't know.
You son?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go on a short break and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning into Malaika TV. We thank you so much for supporting and hope you guys have been liking what you've seen thus far. Make sure you tune into 2013. Keep supporting, keep providing your feedback. We have some great things in stores on behalf of the entire team and the whole entire presenters. I want to thank you and again, stay tuned. Restez des nôtres.
Welcome back to Lucas Light Show with the beautiful Pascal, first baby. And I have a last question for you. And I know it's tough being alone. I know it's tough being a single mother, but just listening to you today, I'm sure it's gonna inspire a lot of single mothers out there, hopefully. And as a man, I think it inspired me that if I'm gonna have a baby, I should be in my baby's life, regardless if I have, a problem with significant other. What was the first thing came in your mind when you found out you were pregnant?
First thing was, how am I gonna tell my dad?
Oh.
Because I came here when I was 12 years old, so and my mom was still in Haiti. So
Okay.
basically, my dad was raising us, and he was the mother and the dad at the same time. My parents are still together. So that was the thing. Being pregnant, it didn't scare me. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm pregnant. But then, how am I gonna tell my dad? Just going up to him and be like, Dad, by the way, next September I'm not going back to school because, yeah, that was the shock.
That was shock.
Yeah, but I got through it.
Wow. That's good. First thing came in your mind was the dad.
It was my dad. Yeah.
Any Asian person would have said
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Said that to me.
Definitely.
And how old were you when you had your first baby?
I was 20.
20. That's good. That's a good age.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. Like at that age,
Yeah.
that mentality, like staying positive, that's very good. And I know I said it was the last question, but let's ask a question out there. And what about your mother? What did she say when she found out you had a baby?
My mom, she didn't take it. She took it well.
Okay.
My mom, mostly it's like, if my dad is okay, she's okay. If he's not, then, they kind of go together.
True love.
So, yeah. So basically for her, when my dad found out and he told her, she took it well.
Okay.
So, I'm guessing we had the little small talks of, don't go back to school, you need to finish school and everything, but she took it very well.
Thank you very much for coming to my show. And this is Pascal, first baby. I am very overwhelmed, and I don't have nothing to say. Follow her steps if you plan to have a baby. Just stay positive and have a good support system. We'll see you soon. That Lucas Light. Let your kid be who they want to be, especially if it's positive. Anything is possible when your kid has a different talent. Look at Michael Jackson for example. He wanted to sing, he wanted to dance. Now he's dead, and people still think he's an idol, an icon. Like he was still there.
So anything is possible is really the message that
Yes.
we're sending out today, and to be self-confident and to understand
I mean, your value as well. Well, thank you so much.